Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and we're going to continue on with a few customs that I've made recently that I'm going to feature on my Joe faction shelf. So I've taken down all the Cobra things and I'm switching out into the Joes, and I've the first video I did of some female customs. I have an entire shelf of female Joes. They're called the Badass Bitch Brigade, the Triple Bs. And here we go. That's kind of a cool video, and I show you how I change some colors things with RIT dye and not paint. And then continuing on, this is a few male Joe figures. And one of the things, I am a service member, and I was in the United States Coast Guard, and I served aboard the United States Ticonderoga and the United States Gettysburg, USS Navy vessels. I was a member of a special Coast Guard team that was deployed with the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard. And so the Navy, particularly the Navy and maritime forces of the U.S. military, are something I'm very familiar with, and I love to feature them with my Joes. So the first one up here, we've got a rock and roll, but he's now part of a Navy gun crew. And so very frequently when you are aboard a destroyer, guided missile cruiser, you might be part of a boarding team, you might be part of a gun crew, security force. So they suit up, you know, and back in my day, we didn't have the camos. We were, that's what it looked like. That's what the uniforms really looked like, the dungarees with the Navy. And so you would just throw on a flak vest and a helmet, and you'd take your rifle, whatever you had, and whatever they had, usually it was like an M60, M16, Beretta 9mm, 45. Just when I was getting out, the 60s were being replaced with like saws and stuff like that. But so I'm trying to make it kind of accurate. It's kind of an accurate but very cool Navy sort of boarding team member or security force. And I have several of these on the shelf. I hope you look forward to seeing that. But that's one of the kit bashes that I did. It's not really a custom, it's more of a kit bash. And then these two are based on the rock and rolls. Now, when I have my Joes on display, I really like to strip down their gear. I like to have them almost like they're at G.I. Joe headquarters. And so I like to take the berets, I try to match the berets, I try to give them maybe just a simple sidearm, as if they were not on deployment, but they're maybe in communication at the base. So what I did was I took the rock and roll body, and I have some really high quality water slide decals, and I basically just took some of the decal softener, made sure that they conform to the chest really nicely. I applied the decal, and then I gave them several coats of dull coat, and there's an example of what it looks like. It really lays down beautifully. It looks just like there's no you know, it's a really beautifully applied decal. And that particular softener is what you want to add to the bottom of the decal to make it lay flat. And then on this figure, I wanted to change the skin tone, so he's almost got almost like an Indian style, or, you know, East Indian type of skin tone, or a darker skin tone. There's rock and roll, that's right out of the box. And I liked his skin tone, and it really sort of highlights the tattoos well. But in this one, I took a mixture of red, orange, and brown synthetic dye, RIT dye, and I made kind of this interesting skin tone color. And the tattoos still really pop out beautifully, but it also completely changes the skin tone. And that's just a grunt head, but a heavily modified grunt head and neck pin. So that way he looks uniform, and he looks like he's either been out in the sun for a long time, or he's just a completely different, you know, nationality or race that gives him a much darker appearance. So again, we'll pan out, and those are some of my custom Joes. So I've got one kit bash there, the Navy guy. I can't call that really a custom. That's just swapping some parts out. But the two customs I did on this display are the two rock and roll bases, which is an awesome figure. I love using this figure. And you'll see them featured on the G.I. Joe shelf soon. So hopefully you like those. Hopefully you might give you a couple of ideas, maybe clear some of those shipwrecks and rock and rolls off the pegs. Try a little bit of RIT dye, some synthetic dye, and kind of give some variety to your Joe shelf. So if you like this, stay tuned. The G.I. Joe shelf should be fun. and it'll be up soon. Thanks so much, and let me know what you think.